If you have a question for Tyrese, either use the raise your hand function in the Zoom app, or you can send a message in the chat. We'll get things started with Julian Moplatt when you're ready.
Yes, sir. Hi, Tyrese. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, my man?
Great, man. Thank you. So my question is, I wanted to know what kind of role do you expect to have in the NBA? You have been in Iowa a great shooter, but you also have showed great skills with the ball between your hands. So in the NBA, would you rather be used as a ball handler or a spot-up shooter?
Whatever's gonna get me on the floor.
All right.
I think I'm prepared for kind of whatever role that I'm thrown into or whatever role that I'm asked to do. I just want to play. I think I'm a basketball player before I'm a point guard or a shooting guard. I'm a basketball player, so I want to do whatever I got to do to be on the floor, and I'm prepared for that.
All right, but if you had to choose, which would you select?
Like I said, I don't think it really matters. I think I'm comfortable doing either. I think in my 2 years in college, you saw me play two roles. As a freshman, I was an off-ball guy, knock down shots and defend. As a sophomore year, I kind of, moved to more of a point guard spot, and I was asked to do a lot more, facilitating and scoring and things like that. So, I felt comfortable in both roles, and like I said, I'm prepared for either.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Christos Saltas, when you're ready.
Hello there. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine. I watched you in Crete last summer about the World Cup. How different is your game right now? How evolved your game after the summer of 2019?
Yeah, I would probably say the summer of 2019 was a lot of experimenting for me. I moved to a different position. I was doing different things that I hadn't done, my freshman year of college. So I was experimenting with, the stuff that I was working on, to get to be able to make the team in the first place. So, that was really fun. And my teammates and stuff, it was nice to play with, all the top guys in the country. So I think my game has evolved a lot from there, because now not only have I experimented with those things, but I've worked on those things. I've seen where I fit in perfectly into different spots. So I think Crete helped my game grow tremendously.
And also about the last months, how difficult for you was without the official game?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a little tough for me just because I've been out of basketball since February. So for me to kind of it ain't nothing new, because like I said, I've been out since February, so I'm kind of just been working and trying to get back healthy. And when it got to about May or June, that's when I became fully healthy. I was able to do all my lifts, all my workouts and stuff. So now it's just keep moving and moving. And I knew that we were just gonna keep getting pushed back. But for me to complain about the draft right now with everything that's going on in our country, that would be asinine of me. So I'm okay with it. I know we'll get there sometime soon.
And one last question for me: how you imagine the next season, and what do you expect about next season?
Honestly, I'm not really expecting anything. I'm expected to you be given a role and excel at that role, no matter what it is and no matter where it is. I'm ready. So I've been working on a lot of different things and preparing to do whatever I'm asked. So whatever that is, I'm fully prepared for it.
Thank you very much.
Hey guys, if you can make sure to mute your microphone if there's noise coming in the background, and also if we could try to limit it to one question per person, that would be great. Next question is going to be from James Ham when he's ready.
Hey Tyrese, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I hate to ask a two-part question because he just said that, but I cover both the Kings and the Warriors. Have you spoken to either the Sacramento Kings or the Golden State Warriors? And just where do you think you're going to go in this year's draft?
I've spoken to Golden State, and I don't have any clue where I'm going to go in this draft. To be honest with you, I think there's a lot of different spots where I fit in well. But like I said, I'm really prepared to kind of be thrown into wherever or drafted into any situation. I think I've put in a lot of work this offseason, so just being ready for whatever's thrown at me.
Brian Windhorst, when you're ready.
Tyrese, I know that you've known Tyler Hero since you guys were kids. And if I could only ask one question, allow me to ask, knowing him as you do, where does the confidence that he is displaying and succeeding with, where do you think that comes from, having seen him grow up?
Oh, and his work, for sure. Tyler's worked hard since we were little kids. We kind of broke up about our freshman year of high school. So we weren't that close anymore to kind of see, him work even harder in high school to obviously get to where he is today. But I know all the work he put in. We're a lot closer now than we were in high school. We talk all the time. So, I'm glad to see him doing well. I love that for him and his family. And, this is what we've dreamt of since we were kids. And it doesn't really come as a surprise to me.
Jeff Garcia, when you're ready.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate that. Miss you at the 2K League Arena. Hey, Tyrese, good to speak with you. I covered the San Antonio Spurs. Have you had any communications with them? And if so, what was that conversation like? What was your takeaway? What would it be like to be drafted by San Antonio?
I have not spoken to San Antonio yet.
When you look at the draft, the many look at it and say, hey, it's not a strong draft. Does that motivate you? Does that kind of light a fire under you to prove them wrong?
I think it's like such a lazy, casual comment. Like, I think that I don't understand why people act like every draft class has like 5 All-Stars, 5 Hall of Famers. Like, I have a hard time kind of understand that. I think we have a lot of dudes in this draft that are going to do very well in the NBA. And it's hard for us to say that right now, but I hope we can revisit this in a couple of years and have that discussion about what people think about our class. But I think it's a lot stronger than people think.
Appreciate you, Tyrese.
Yep.
Warren Shaw, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese, thanks for doing this, brother. What do you think is your best non-basketball trait? Like, what's the intangible that you're going to bring to an NBA locker room next season?
I think just being me as a person. I think I'm very personable. I create relationships with all my teammates. I think if you ask any of my teammates from college or even high school, to that matter, I think they would tell you that we probably still have a relationship to this day. And they could talk to me about anything, and I could talk to them about anything. I think transparency is a big deal for me. And not only having a relationship with my teammates, but, with the coaching staff at Iowa State and Oshkosh North as well. So just being me, and I think, the better relationships are with people, the better it is, towards winning.
Thanks so much, man.
Yep.
Next question is coming from Mark Berman, when you're ready.
Yeah, Tyler. How many teams have you actually interviewed with, and have the Knicks been one of them? And what do you think about the Knicks and their situation at point guard? And they have been looking at that direction.
Yeah, I think I've interviewed with 3 teams. The Knicks being one of them. I like the Knicks, roster, and I think they are an up and coming team. Obviously they have a lot of guys that can play the point guard spot, and Alfred and Dennis and Frank. But I'm prepared to do whatever I have to do, no matter where that is. So if it was the Knicks for your question, I'm prepared to do whatever is asked of me. If that's play the 1 or slide to the 2 or come off the bench or start, doesn't really matter. I'm ready.
Was it a recent interview, or and what do you feel about that market, playing in a big market like New York?
It was probably a couple months ago. But it was definitely before the lottery. During probably like July or something. I don't really remember. But in terms of your question about the market, that doesn't really worry me or concern me in any way. I'm a basketball player, so I'll play basketball wherever that is. And I know you probably get that answer from everybody, and they don't know what to expect when they get there. But I'm prepared to play basketball anywhere. So I'm looking forward to the challenge wherever that is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ian Bagley, when you're ready.
Tyrese, thanks for doing this. I'm sorry if you had mentioned this already, but have you spoken to the Nets? And if so, how do you see yourself fitting in on that roster?
No, I haven't spoke to Brooklyn.
Thank you.
Yep.
Adam Zagoria, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese, thanks for doing this, man. Just with the Knicks, you talked about them before. What would it be like, potentially playing with RJ and Mitchell Robinson and some of the guys on that team? And do you think you'll still be there at number 8?
To answer that, I think they got a great young core. I think that it's definitely an up-and-coming team in the NBA. I see myself fitting there, whatever spot that is. And the second part of your question was, do I think I'll still be there at 8? I have no clue. I wish I had that answer for you. But if I am and the Knicks take me, then I'm ready to get to work.
Good luck, man. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question is coming from TAB Deportes. When you're ready.
Hi, from Puerto Rico. Which NBA player is your inspiration?
Inspiration. Wow, that's a good question. I'd probably say, I watched a lot of old, like throwback basketball, like 80s and 90s stuff growing up, because my dad's an old head, so he had me watching a lot of older stuff. But for me, Magic Johnson has always been my guy. Just because his passion and his spirit on the court, but his vision and his impact on winning. I don't think people really understand how much of a winner Magic Johnson really is. So that would probably be my inspiration.
Thank you and good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up, Jace Frederick, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese. First off, have you had any communication with the Timberwolves? And then part 2, is there any part of your game that you don't think maybe wasn't put on full display at the college level that will shine through in the NBA game?
I haven't spoken to the Timberwolves yet. I'm sure I will here soon. And then the second part of your question, I think there's just a lot of things that I've worked on since then that I didn't really use in college, or I don't know if I really could or do it at a high level in college, so I didn't do it. But Coach Prom gave me the green light, so anything that I really wanted to do, I was able to do it at Iowa State. So, I wouldn't say I was held back in any shape, form, or fashion. But I've worked on a lot since then. So, if I had a rewind button and I could go do it again, I'm sure you would see a lot of different stuff. But fortunately, I don't have that.
Chase Hughes, you're next.
Hey, Tyrese. Have you had any contact with the Washington Wizards? And also, how do you think your three-point shot will translate to the next level in terms of range and also mechanics?
I have not spoke to Washington, and the second part of your question about my three-point shot, I think it's so overblown, the stuff about my mechanics and range, because I don't think film lies or numbers lie. So go back and watch me at the college level. I think I shot the ball really well both years. And if people watch, they know range is not a problem for me. So, I think if that's what people want to talk about, then go ahead. But, we'll see. We can revisit that question in a couple of years and see what people have to say.
Omari Sankofa, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese, thanks for doing this. I was just curious, have you talked to the Pistons? And obviously they have a need for a young point guard. How do you see yourself fitting with that franchise if they were to pick you?
Yeah, I have talked to Detroit, and I think I fit there really well as well. I think, being able to learn from dudes like Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin would be huge. Two guys that have done this at a high level, especially at a young age, so they know what it takes to do that. And then, a team with a good young core as well. And, I'd be fully ready to go. I think I'm a Midwest guy through and through. So being in Detroit would be no problem for me. And, I think I fit well there.
Alder Almo, when you're ready.
Hi, Tyrese. Thanks for doing this. They've already asked the next question. So my question would be, how do you see yourself as a point guard or a shooting guard?
A basketball player. Whatever you need from me, I'll do. So if you want me to play the PG, I can do that. I think I facilitate better than anybody in this draft. I think I can, run a team right away. But if you want to play the two and knock down shots and defend, I think I can do that as well. So whatever's really asked of me, I'll do. And I think basketball is kind of transitioning more and more into, small ball or positionless basketball. So I think I can really fit anywhere. And I think if I move to the two and I'm close to the rebound, I'm going to grab it and take it anyway. So it doesn't really matter for me either spot.
Thank you, Tyrese.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up is Dwayne Rankin.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Phil. Two things. One, you said that, if I heard you right, you said that 3 teams have talked to you. You mentioned Knicks, Pistons. Who was the third team? Is that team Phoenix? Is it a different team? And what do you feel like you can bring to an NBA team right away?
The third team is Golden State. And the second part of your question, what can I bring? I think right away, I think I'm coming in as a guy who can make shots and somebody who can facilitate at a high level. And I think I'm a really good off-ball defender. I think my IQ is very high and I know where to be at the right time. I think I can improve a lot as an on-ball defender. And that's a challenge I look forward to taking on in the NBA, in practice, and things like that. But I think right away you get those 3 things. And then off the court, like I talked about earlier, just a personable person who impacts winning. So I'm ready, wherever that is.
Thank you, sir.
Rob Schaefer, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese, thanks for doing this, man. You've mentioned some of the strengths of your game, and you've mentioned that you've been doing a lot of work over the last couple months in advance of the draft. I'm wondering kind of what are those areas that you're looking to improve and continue to work on as you make the jump to the NBA level?
I would say finishing with both hands and then just kind of scoring off the bounce. That's been important for me, especially in the pick and roll. I think basketball is transitioning to 80% offensively is with a pick and roll. So I'm prepared for that. And, watching a lot of drop coverage in the playoffs and in just the regular season, that really intrigues me because I never saw drop coverage much in college. There's a lot of hard hedging and things like that. So, I think being able to kind of hit that in-between game, and I think that'll be big for me at the next level.
Thank you. And quick follow-up. You mentioned the 3 teams aspect. I just want to confirm that the Bulls then are not a team that you have spoken to at all yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Next question is from Fred Katz.
Hey, Tyrese, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I was just curious. You're pretty comfortable, it seems, at least from watching you. You're pretty comfortable playing both on the ball and off the ball. When you're a kid, when you're 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, how are you at that stage? Like when you're in your very, very developing stages of basketball, where is your comfort level with those 2 things?
Well, when I was a kid, in our scouts, we don't have a third grade team. So when you're a third grader, you play the fourth graders. If they pick like 2 or 3 third graders, play the fourth grader. So I played the 4 as a third grader. Okay, so we transitioned to 4th grade, and they moved me to the 5 because I was a taller kid. I was the tallest kid on the team. But I hated it. I hated being a big man. That's awful. And so I grabbed a rebound one day in practice, and I brought it up, and I was just fine, comfortable doing it. And I told coach, like, I can play the point. Like, let me play the point. So he let me play the point guard in 5th grade, a kid who was just playing center. And I guess he knew what he was doing because from there, that kind of just became my permanent position. I played all point guard from 5th grade to senior in high school. And then freshman year, I was asked to come off the ball. So as a kid, I think I became really comfortable with it after 5th grade. But I think that was just kind of kudos to the amount of basketball I watched. And, like I talked about Magic Johnson earlier, but I also LeBron's been my favorite player all growing up. So, obviously a guy who passes the ball at a very high level and runs his team at a high level. So for me, that I felt like it was a pretty seamless transition.
Next is, and pardon my pronunciation, Alan Guillot, when you're ready.
Hello, Tyrese. Hello. The question is about you talk about the change between the freshman and sophomore season. Freshman season more off ball, a lot of catch and shoot, something you are really really good catch and shoot. The second, you had like the ball all the time for Iowa State, creating a lot of the pick and roll, but meant less catch and shoot and more shot of the dribble. How was that transition of the selection of the type of shots you took?
You said how was the transition of it?
Yeah, the 20. How was the 20 of less catch and shoot and maybe work more on the shot of the dribble?
Yeah, I say there was times in my sophomore year where I missed that role. Being able to just catch and shoot, because I would say my sophomore year when I did get catch and shoot opportunities, it was going in. So for me, that transition was definitely different, but it was back to getting to what I'd done basically my whole life at going back to, being in the point guard spot. Earlier I answered a question about, kind of Crete and playing in Greece and playing with USA. And to get back to that role, for Coach Weber to trust me to play that role with all the guys that were on that team was big because that instilled a lot of confidence in me. And then I had those young guys that had confidence in me to play the point as well. So those are top guys. Those are guys that next year are going to be top 10 picks. Yeah, those guys, for them to have confidence in me, then I see no reason why I shouldn't have confidence in myself. So USA was huge for me. And then when I got back and then went to Nike camp and I excelled there, I felt like going into my sophomore year, I was going to be just fine playing that position.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good luck, friends.
Yeah, thank you.
John Chick, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese, you actually just answered part of this, and I apologize. I missed your full answer earlier, but talking about the U19 team in Greece, like how much did that really do for your confidence first and foremost, and being able to utilize the skill set that we saw in parts this year and really put you on the map in terms of this draft, like in terms of just confidence?
Yeah, I would say it was everything for me. When I got there, I knew Coach Weber had a lot to do with me getting out there in the first place. I had a good freshman season, but when I got the invite, I thought it was awesome. And I had no other plans but to make the team. But to kind of hear that was different. Like I knew I was going to make the team, but I was still so nervous when we had to go in and get the answer if we made the team or not. It was just a weird feeling for me. But, once I made the team and kind of settled into my spot and, my relationships grew with everybody on the team and everybody on the staff, that I was good to go. And then I felt like, being out of the country for the first time in my life, like it was an opportunity that I couldn't take for granted and something that I had to, take advantage of. And then I had family and friends back home watching all the games, and they're super early here. So that was big for me, just, to make everybody proud that's been paying attention and following my journey up to this point. So that did everything for me. And I think that has really made me into the player I am today. That was a huge thing for me.
Thanks, man. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Next question's from Leo Sun, when you're ready.
Hey, what's up, Tyrese? I have a question about your driving ability to the rim. Last year, you shot 67, or the 67 possessions ended where you took a shot at the rim or as a runner, and you made about 60.5% of them as the 67th percentile. So how do you think that's going to translate to the NBA, and do you look to attack the rim more versus staying to your strengths and as a spot-up shooter and making plays?
I think just taking what the defense gives. I think a lot of my sophomore year to start the year, I was getting to the rim more, but, I really hurt my wrist in December. So all the conference play was really hard, going to my left hand and finishing with my left, because if it got hit or I fell on it, it would be numb for the rest of the game. So for me, it was, I think I'm not trying to make it an excuse by any means or say anything like that, because I don't believe in that. But, I think that had a big deal to do with the majority of my sophomore year. But going into the league next year, just take it what the defense gives me. I have faith in myself to finish with both hands, and I've worked on – that's a big thing that I've been working on, is just finishing over the top of people. So, I'm prepared to do whatever I got to do.
Thank you.
Next up is Ferdinand Rivera, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm great. From Puerto Rico. What do you think of a possible opportunity to play with Stephen Curry and have him as a mentor?
I think that would be huge. Steph being one of the best point guards to ever play the game of basketball, and probably the best shooter to ever play the game of basketball. I think it'd be big for me to learn from him and just kind of pick his brain, and then take that challenge on and practice as well. Because if I can stay in front of Steph and try and guard him, then I feel like I could probably guard anybody. So that would be big for me, and something that would probably be really awesome.
Lastly, you were a teammate of also Puerto Rican George Condit. What do you think of his game, and do you think he can reach the NBA level in the future?
Yeah, that's my guy. I love George's game. I love his motor. He plays hard. I think he definitely has a chance to get to the NBA. I just think winning affects those things. So, at Iowa State, I think, we got to have a better year this year than we did last year to really increase those chances for him.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah.
Got about 5 minutes left, so we'll try to get through as many as we can. Sam Smith, when you're ready.
Thanks. You've been regarded, along with LaMelo Ball and Killian Hayes, the top potential point guard prospects in this draft. Could you compare and/or contrast your games with theirs? We spoke with them a couple of days ago.
I think, watching those guys a little bit, obviously being outside of America, I haven't watched them too much, but obviously LaMelo's been a guy that's been highly followed for most of his life, and somebody's been doing this at a high level for most of his life. So kudos to him on what he's been doing, and I love his game. I think he can do a lot of things well. And then Killian, at the same time, watching a little bit of him and his growth throughout this season was cool to see too. I think they're both really good players and can be really good at the next level. I think that I do some things better than they do, and I think they do some things better than I do. So, I think that we all have a little bit of different games. I think, LaMelo is, he's scoring the ball at 3 levels. I think I'm the best facilitator out of the group, and I think Killian defends at a high level. So, I think you get, something out of all of us, and I think we're 3 dudes that are going to be successful at the next level.
Richard Harris, when you're ready.
Hi, Tyrese. My question is, I know your role has changed, and I also know you have been trying to change your release point on your shot. Analytically, you stand out. Over the past 2 seasons, you've really stood out among this draft class. However, the one area where you do seem to struggle is shooting off the bounce, especially coming off the pick when you're handling in the pick and roll. So my question to you is, I know you've been, at least at times, we're working on your release. What have you been and you mentioned earlier that you were working on shooting off the bounce. So specifically, could you describe a little more how you're trying to improve in that one area where you seem to not be elite?
Yeah, I would just say reps. Just putting in as much work as I can in that. I think you pointed out a good thing to where I didn't shoot the ball very well off the bounce. I think part of it had to do where I wasn't the most aggressive coming off the bounce in a lot of games. I was looking to pass. So, once that pass taken away, then I'd shoot it in it. And it just was a confidence thing or something that, I'm not really looking to score anyway. So when I do shoot it, it wasn't going in. So it's something I've paid a lot of attention to on film and talked to Coach Prom about and talked to his staff about and everybody. Just being more aggressive off the pick and roll, looking to score first and then making things happen for my teammates. I think if I could go back and redo a lot of things, I'll definitely be a lot more aggressive, especially early, to kind of get myself going and then get everybody else going. I think that changes the flow of a lot of games and the direction of a lot of games. So, I think that's something I definitely put a lot of work into, and just getting up as many reps as possible every day. Because I think in college, when I was getting workouts in, there was a lot of catch and shoot and a lot of different things. But now being able to see myself in these actions and being able to see myself where I struggled and go directly at those points, I think has been big for me.
Would it be fair to say that, I was watching film of you last night. Would it be fair to say, I mean, you would have noticed this yourself, that from your freshman season and even, during your sophomore season, at different times, your release point is varying. I mean, sometimes you shoot it perfectly, sometimes it's a little low. When you say you're doing the reps, are you trying to get that release point more consistently higher?
Yeah, I would say that. I think it also adjusts where my defender is as well. I think at times when it is lower, I have time to get it off. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if somebody's closing out heavy and it hits my hands right here, it's got to go up if I'm trying to shoot it. So I think that adjusted. And then, obviously in the mid range, I jump higher because I got a big man showing, so I got to get it up. So I think it just depends on where I am, on the floor. That's why it's somewhat inconsistent to a point. But I know where I want it, and I know the spot where I have to have it at most points. So, I'm just, fine-tuning those things.
Okay. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're going to do a couple more. Winchus Machado, when you're ready. Winchus, are you there? Okay, we'll move on. Rylan Stiles, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese, you've mentioned a few times that you're just a basketball player, and you've mentioned how the NBA is evolving and going positionless. I was gonna ask you, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander someone who you look at and view in that same ilk, that he is someone who can play the point guard and shooting guard? And do you model your game somewhat after Shai and being able to play both guard positions?
I mean, he's a guy I watch and a guy I see do things at a high level, but I wouldn't say I model my game after him. I see the comparisons just because we're both tall guards. I think that's the only thing that we kind of do really similar, and we kind of can play either spot. But I wouldn't say I model my game after him, but I think he is a great player and somebody who's definitely evolving, and to becoming an all-star here soon. So I love Shai's game for sure.
Next up, Kleber Da Silva, when you're ready.
Hi. Hi, Tyrese. I'm from Brazil, and which franchise has the best fit with your style of play?
I think there's a lot of franchises that could use somebody like me, and I fit well there. I see myself fitting in a lot of different spots, wherever that is. So, like I said, just using my game and whatever the team need is, that's what I'll do.
We're going to have two more, and then we're going to be finished. So, Seb Dumitru, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese, thanks for taking the time. I just want to talk about your basketball IQ real quick. You obviously mentioned your dad. You have a cousin that was in the NBA. And developing that basketball IQ, how early did that start? When did you start picking apart film? And what do you do nowadays to kind of always stay on top? And like you were saying, seeing different ways the defense is scheme and how you can attack those different things depending on what your role is on the floor.
I think when I started dissecting film would probably be late middle school. My mom used to like film my games just for like us to watch and post highlights of on like Instagram or something. But I think I was watching it in different senses because I would watch it all the time and kind of see, as a kid, I'm not really paying attention to like certain things, but I see things that I can get better at. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm trying to think like, oh, I missed this shot in this spot, so I need to work on that shot in that spot. The basic principle of film. When I got to high school, later, like my junior and senior year, we only lost 2 games between my junior and senior year. So watching a lot of film there, because my coach also being my teacher, we could talk a lot in class about plays and things like that. We still talk to this day. Just seeing what he sees me telling him what I see, we had a really transparent relationship, so that helped. And then when I got to college, I was dissecting right away just because I had already, went from there. And I think that's been huge for me, and I think it's something that is kind of evolving. I think more and more younger kids are getting into film because of, great things like Huddle and stuff like that. So, I think it's big for kids to watch film and kind of dissect where they can get better at and where, what they see, because, you always see arguments between players and coaches. 85% of the time, it's just a misunderstanding. I think it's just things that players can fix, and then once they fix those things and the coach understands what they see and there's a more transparent relationship, it fixes everything.
Appreciate it, Tyrese. Good luck in the draft.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
And we got final question here, Rich 2, when you're ready.
Hey, Tyrese, thanks for doing this. When you talked to the Warriors, did you happen to have spoken with Sean Livingston? And did they mention any role being like Sean Livingston's?
Sean wasn't a part of the staff yet when I interviewed them. It was a while ago. But they definitely talked about where they see. But they definitely talked about where they see my role kind of similar to his. I think Sean being an older dude at a really high level, and I think that's something that I hope to be able to do. It's something that I'm working on for sure. But I think we do, obviously two different things. I think Sean Livingston might be one of the best mid-range jump shooters I've ever seen. And I think I can shoot from outside better than him. So I think there's obviously Sean Livingston being a great player. That's really high praise that they think I could be somewhat similar to that. And like I said, whatever role that they ask for me when I get there, I'm going to do it to the highest of my ability.
Thank you, Tyrese, for your time today. It was very generous with this time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a good rest of the day.